So hello everybody, today I'm going to be showing you how to make the Roblox gore, which is basically like bloody stuff, you know, because it seems there's like not a lot of tutorials about it, and it's actually quite simple. So let's start. So number one thing you have to understand that as you can see, how do I make it? Well, we're actually going to be making it through a tool. And this is our tool that I worked on, and I'm gonna explain how it works because it is really simple, and I hope you guys can understand. If you don't know how to script, I would recommend going to DevKing or go watch some tutorials, learn how to script, and then come back to this tutorial. But if you know the basics of scripting and mostly know how scripting works, this is a tutorial for you. So, number one thing, this is our tool. And before you ever start, you gotta make the handle, which is the tool itself, and that's how we're gonna make our animations, stuff like that. Basically, when you make a tool, let me show you. So I'm gonna go to my starter pack just to show you this. If I go to my tool and I go to my part and I make a handle for it, just give me a second. As you can see, we can hold it, and now that's really, yeah, that's how tools work. If you name this handle, it will be part of this. So yeah, I'm gonna make a more detailed tutorial about tools in the future, but yeah, it's like weld, and here it is, you can get it, and that's really simple. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the part 0 and weld it to your handle, and that's for beginning. You're not gonna make the part 1, but what you're going to do is you're gonna insert in your tool a local script and a script. And before we start the scripting part, you have to go to a replicated storage and make a remote event. You should call it combat, and go to your server script service and make a folder called gore. And in gore, make your gore. Basically, here we go. This is how my brutal head will look. Whenever you chop someone's head off, this is what's gonna be replacing their head. So yeah, that's how it's gonna be. So now you're gonna put it back that into the gore, just work on it a little bit, and then put it there. So now what you're gonna do is when you take your tool, you're gonna go and open your local script, and you're gonna first actually insert an animation like this. But I already have my animation, I call it idle. I recommend calling it idle, and you basically take the ID and import it in here. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to your local script, and this is how the local script will look. It's actually quite simple. So what we're doing here is we're saying that we have players, and we're going to a local player of the owner of the tool. Then we say repeat until player.character, which means we're waiting for character to load, and then we have what local character is, and that is player.character. Now we can just say, whenever we say character, he knows that we're referring to basically this everything inside of here. So now when you reference that, you can reference the humanoid, which is the character that wait for child a humanoid, and this will help you find the humanoid. And humanoid root part is basically used for animation. That's like the main part, okay? Idle animation, you have to use humanoid to load the animation, and then you can set script.idle, because the owner, the parent of the animation, is local script. So you can even say like something like a local animation equals script the wait for child idle, and then I mean you can just say animation, and then it will load that specific animation. Now our queue is game.getServers.replicated storage, which I talked about, and we use that replicated storage for our combat. This is what fires it on the server and local client. So now we have debounce, which is fall. That's basically just for, you know, making the thing work right, you know, stuff like that. Then we have current time, perf time, countdown, cooldown, which is basically when you swing, how much you have to wait to swing again, which you can adjust to anything you want. These are the values we need, and now we have scripted parent that equip the connected function to the player. So this is what's going to happen when we equip the tool. It's going to play our idle animation, and when we unequip the tool, we just type same thing, but just the animation has to stop, because if we don't type this, the animation will keep going forever. Now scripted parent that activated the connected function. So we're basically going to do if dbounce equals false, then dbounce will be true, and then current time equals to tick. This is basically that time is how do I say, like, goes from 19,000s, and basically it's really long. So this is how we use for current time that is going on in game. So now we're gonna reference what our past time is, and this is previous time minus the current time, and then we say if past time equals 1, then, which means 1 second, count will we go plus 1, and then we send if it reaches the 3, which is our third combo. Yes, we're making combos. If you didn't know, like if we go inside our tool, if we go to script, you can see there is a folder called combos. And inside of here we have swing 1, swing 2, and swing 3. When it reaches the swing 3, it will go back to swing 1, and then swing 2, and swing 3. If it takes it too long for you to hit or throw the swing, the first swing, it will return to first swing. So you have to like click, click, click. You gotta click fast. But if you click too slow, it will just always return to swing 1. Like let's say you go to swing 2, and then you stop clicking, it's gonna again play swing 1, swing 2, and it's gonna reset the value. So if we go back to our local script, my bad, we're gonna go and say that if the count reaches 3, it's gonna reset to 1, which means it's gonna play the first animation. So then else count, then comment the fire server to count. And this is important so we know which animation needs to be played. So now we have this, which is used for, making the thing work normally. So yep, this is used for combos too, which is that's basically it. You just have to type this inside of your local script. Now local script is mostly done, but now without most of the things, like let me show you, just like how the sword does work. So as you can see, I left it there on the, oh my bad, you can't leave the sword on the ground because there's specific things that have to be done that you might not know of. The first of all, that has to be can't collide and maskless, and it can't be anchored. So as you can see, it will load the animation normally. And I'm not sure if you can guys hear the sounds, but there are sounds, okay? And yeah. So okay, so let me now explain how the thing will work. So when you have all of this done, when you have your Gorge series done, replicate storage combat done, and when you have mostly everything done, you're just gonna go to your tool, and now you're gonna go back to this weld constraint, and you're gonna take this part 1, and you see this position, right? If you go to our script, you have to insert a folder called combo and int value. If you don't know how to insert this, and because maybe for some of you who are more new will know that this might be bool value or something like this. No, it's actually int value, which is actually holds numbers, so that's important to know. Then you have position, which is actually the position which I showed you. I'm gonna go put this into workspace so I can show you guys. That's our hitbox, okay? The important thing, this is our hitbox. So remember, not this, my bad. Position is our hitbox. So yeah, this is where our hitbox will actually spawn. Now let me explain how that works, okay? Now just remember, you have to have combos, critical int value, and position, and inside position you can put audios. So this is swing audio, which is basically the swing, and now this is when you hit a humanoid. So find some 2 audios, and if you, so let me tell you. So this is when you hit someone, when you hit a player, what's it going to play, and this is when you just normally swing. Without these two, the script might break. But if you don't have audios and you don't want any audio, which I don't know why you wouldn't, you can just go to here. I'm just gonna explain this. It's quite simple. Go to these, like that has playing that true. So you see this, delete that. If you don't want any audio, just delete this. So you can just delete this. And if you don't want this, like gore, you can just delete that. And it's really simple. It's simple as that. And as you can see, I think this is just like really simple. I hope you guys understand how it works. But yeah, it's really simple. So now we're just gonna go to our actual script now and tell you how it works, what to do, and stuff like that. So we have our local debris, our replicate storage, and you have to copy the combat because we're using this. Now we're gonna go to reference local animations, which are our combo. And so everything inside of here is our animation. So whenever you say animations, it will mean to be this bad boy here. Then this is our damage. You can change this to 5 and it will deal 5 damage per hit, just to know that. But I'm gonna leave it to 35 how it was. This is our server script service. If you don't want, just leave it how it is, just type that. I don't know, I was pretty mad when it didn't work because Roblox sucks. And local tween service equals game.getService.tween service. So now what you can do is you're gonna type animations, and you can see that here, whenever you put anything that is inside these curly brackets, refers to anims, which is our animations inside the animations. So you're gonna type animations, wait for child, and you're gonna basically copy and paste these 3 times. It depends how many you have. So you're gonna type swing 1, swing 2, and swing 3. So we refer to these bad boys. So now what you're gonna do is gonna say local function damage, and now as you can see, script that position but swing will play will be true. Then local hitboxes serve that wait for child that position will clone, and we call that a hitbox. So certainly what we're doing is we're taking the position part, cloning it, and then he is the one who will indicate if we're hitting the player and if he has to get damage. So you're gonna basically take hitbox parent, it will be equals to this folder. Now if you don't know what this folder is, we're just gonna go here, and this is the folder, which is local folder, instance.new folder, workspace. So yeah, that's what it is. Just type this, but you have to type it here on comment on server and stuff. So yeah, no, it will probably say a lots of errors, but I will put this script for copy paste. Yeah, I'm just explaining how it works. So yeah, so hitbox.cframe equals script.position.cframe. So yeah, so basically we're saying what the C-frame is, the parent is the folder. So local critical equals script.waitforchild.critical. Local weld is what we're making. This is something we're new making, and that's called manual welding. We're making our own weld, and we're using it to weld the hitbox to the position which we set. So you just type this, and then we're gonna say whenever the hitbox is being touched, as you can see here, and this is the value we use for what is hit. So we say if hit is a base part, which means if it's a part, if we hit something, it's gonna check what it is. So we named what our local enemy humanoid is, their root part, what their head is, what their torso is. You can humanoid root part, which is another player's humanoid root part. Then hitbox will destroy. Now you don't need this. Hitbox will destroy itself, but you don't really need. It does that for us. I was testing it, okay? So enemy humanoid will take the damage to damage hit. So if you didn't know, we already referenced it here. And then we're going to say critical.value is going to be equals to critical.value plus 1, which means it will add up to the current value plus 1. So script.position, the audio will be playing because we hit someone. So we said why to call it audio because it will play that certain audio when you hit someone. Then this is for criticals, okay? So I said if it's over 6, then if it's an enemy humanoid, then So we basically reference what our brutal head is, which I already showed you what it is. Then we have our humanoid root part, local goal, which is quite simple, and goal.cframe equals cframe.new humanoid root part.cframe. And this is a bit maybe harder to understand for you guys, but what I'm doing here is I am making the knockback, so it a little bit pushes away the player who you killed, so you know it looks more satisfying. So yeah, you're gonna say local info, so tween info.new will be it will take 0.2 seconds for him to do that, and the local knockback will be tween service.create enemy humanoid info and its goal, what the goal is. So tween service is making realistic movement in real time, not just changing it automatically in 1 millisecond. You're telling it to move in a certain time, to move to a certain position, or to change certain value in certain time, in real life time. So we're gonna say our brutal head, which is what happens, the gore part I showed you from the beginning of the video, will be torso. The parent is the torso, so brutal head.cframe equals torso.cframe, then times this new cframe, which will just put it at the right position. So local weld equals instant the new manual weld, which we saw already before. And what we're doing is we're taking this and welding it to the torso so it looks better. Then you're gonna take all of this as normal, and you see this torso with fragile neck. This is because in every humanoid, as you can see here, if we go to our humanoid root part, or actually torso, you could see this neck, and the neck is connected from part 0, as you can see, torso and the head, which means if we delete this, the humanoid can't survive, and secondly, the head will fall off. So now we're going to say knockback will play. So critical.value will be 0. We're going to set it to 0, else critical value will be 0. Just to make sure. So combat on server event connect the functional player count. Now this is what we use to tell it, hey, I want you to play in an order I setted. So we're going to say local character equals player.character. You're going to say local humanoid equals character dot wait for child dot humanoid. Local folder equals instance the new, and folder is going to be, oh my god, okay, my bad, but as you can see here, what we're referencing is our own humanoid. Now this is our humanoid we're referencing, and what is happening here, we're making a new instance called folder, and then the folder, the folder's parent is the workspace, and that's this is the parent, right? And now what's happening is that the folder's name is going to be called effects, and the breeze.add item. Now this will actually delete the item itself, so it's going to be folder 0.5 with how many seconds it stores. Now I would recommend everyone to be aware that you have to put this here, otherwise it won't work. Then we see what a local attack is, and that is humanoid load animations. We're going to put these brackets, and then say animations, these, and then you're going to say to the count. This actually will load animations certain to the count's value, which means if it's 1, it will go to the first animation here, which is swing 1, and play the swing 1. That's the same if it goes 2. Play the third animation, the value will be set to 1, and then it's going to play the first animation. Then we say the attack will play, and the combat will fire on the client too, and the damage player here and folder, so it knows what is going on. You have to say the damage function, because otherwise it won't work, because this is a separate function that is being fired by the server event. Now, just to give you a recap, you need in ServerScript service gore, it's like that. In replicated storage, you have to have something that is called combat, and that has to be a remote event, which is here. And you need a tool, which is the sword itself, here. And we already told you what you need, everything inside of it, what everything does. And don't forget, weld constraint, part 0, the handle, you have to set it to handle, and part 1 to position so it doesn't fall off. If you forget to do this, the script will break, and everything will fall apart. So now let me show you that this actually does work, so you guys don't think I'm just wasting your time. Oh, my bad, I didn't put it here. And yes, one thing I forgot to tell you is that you have to set these values. Please don't set an anchor and you can't collide with it, because the sword will start glitching because it's colliding with your player, your character. So I'm just telling you, don't do it. Just like put these values here, and for position, put these values here. So now if we go to it, you're gonna see it's gonna be really simple. It's going to work. I'm sorry I lost my footage a bit, and I'm just gonna explain simply what happened. So the script didn't work because I already told you how to fix it inside of the videos by putting the text on it saying don't delete this and stuff like that. But just to tell you, the kit for blood you're gonna have to download, and Ragdoll script will be in the description, and that's really it. Just to know, it's simple as that. So yeah, I hope you're enjoying this video, and leaving a sub would be, it would help. Thank you.